Hey up and welcome to Last Cast. I know it's been a while, hasn't it? Probably over about a year. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Brent and Aidan for their excellent contribution to the Last Cast channel. Been absolutely fabulous and I've learnt so much from them. I just wanted to sort of chip in with a video of myself this week, and it is a full week's worth of vlogging if you like. I'm out here with a camera, so I don't have anybody to sort of direct what I'm doing, and I'm not sure what the content will be like. Hopefully the editor can piece it all together and give us a decent video. But I'm out here in central France. I'm not the world's greatest carp angler, but that's what I'm doing this week. As you'll see from my basic setups and people that know me, I'm not very technical at all with carp fishing, but I do hope you enjoy this week with me and just me and the camera really. So it's a proper vlogging video relating to carp fishing. The lake behind me is a 5-acre lake, and there's just me and a couple of other people on here. I can't see any other anglers at all, so that's how peaceful and tranquil it is. And as the week goes on, I'll show you around and give you some idea of just what this place is like. I'll talk to you about my setup, and I'll show you a few other things. I might even get 1 or 2 reviews in. But most importantly, it's all about getting a few fish on the bank. So fingers crossed. I'll see what I can do for you. I've arrived. I arrived yesterday, but the weather was really poor. It's been raining. We left the UK in storms, and I arrived here in storms. And for people that go out carp fishing, you'll know what it's like trying to sort of put things together in the rain. It's not easy. As the day goes on, though, I'll show you my little camping setup. I managed to get there, but my preparation's not been very good. I've just set my 2 rods up and my tripod set up as well. Sorry, my rig system set up. But I haven't made any pre-bait yet. So my first plan is I'll get a couple of boilies in the water, and I'll send the first couple of casts out with a few PVA stringers attached to the rigs. But my plan as the morning goes on is just to make up some pre-bait. So I'll talk you through what I've brought with me, and you can see how that goes on. And then I'm going to try put a few PVA bags with every cast as well, just to get a bit of bait out there. I've brought my catapult, so I'll be flicking a few boilies out as well. Hopefully I can get a fish on the bank for you today. Well, I've finally got both rods set up, and I'm using the dynamite baits, e73, squid, liver and black pepper boilies. It's just some that I had left over from last season. So I'm going to give these a go and just see if we can get a couple of fish. No fish showing at the moment, none at all. I've heard a few splashes in the margins on the far bank. I've got 1 rod out to my left here, which is about 12 rod lengths out, and the one to the right is about 15 rod lengths out. So I'm just going to start flicking a few of these in now with a catapult. I'm just going to make myself some mulchy type ground bait premix up to put in my PVA bags. So I'll give you a glance at that when I've got that finished. Well, I just wanted to give you an idea of what type of things I'm going to be putting in my PVA bags. I cooked some hemp seed back home, and I've put them into these little freezer bags and froze them into what I think sort of a daily sort of amount really. So there's a bag of hemp there that I cooked while I was in the UK, and I've kept it frozen and defrosted it for this morning. I've got some 3mm pellets to mix in there as well, and I've also got some 4mm pellets to put in there. All these are halibut pellets. A tin of sweet corn, good old favourite, Jolly Green Giant. And because I'm using PVA bags, I learnt a little trick on the internet which I'm sort of trialling, and I'll give you some feedback as to how that goes. But they reckon if you put two tablespoons of salt into a bucket, then add water, which creates like a saline solution, and then put your other ingredients in there, give it a quick whiz round, and it should be then ready to put into a PVA bag. It seems that carp likes salt anyway, and it'll also stop the PVA bag from dissolving. So I'm going to give that a go. It's a first try for me, but it'll be interesting to see how it works out. So I'll give you a little bit of information on that once I've got this made up. So I better crack on because I'm losing vital fishing time. Catch you in a bit. Right, it took about 2 or 3 minutes to make this little mix up. I first started off with a saline solution of 2 tablespoonfuls of salt into my water bucket, and I've scooped that out and put it into a fresh container, just keeping as much liquid back as I can. obviously I want the mixture to be as dry as possible, just to maintain my PVA bags. And this is kind of like the final result. So so what we've got here is we've got sweet corn, hemp that I cooked at home. I've got a few crushed boilies, just some old boilies that I've brought with me that are not really good enough to put on and use as hook bait. I've put those into my crusher and crushed those up, fairly small. I've also added my pellets in a couple of different versions and sizes of pellets, and that hopefully should just keep the fish picking around and should stay quite interested. I've also put a couple of the boilies that I'm using as hook bait. I've also crushed a few of those in there as well, and it smells absolutely fantastic. So that's my starter for 10, and I'm not sure how it's going to do, and I might customise this as the week goes on, but I'm going to give this a try. I still haven't had a look to see whether it suits the PVA bags yet, but I'm sure it will do. I've just sort of dipped my finger in it. It's quite salty, but that's good for the carp. I understand they do like quite salty foods. So yeah, we'll get a few of these in the bags, and I'll try and show you some bags loaded with these, just to show you that it does work, and hopefully we can get a couple of fish on the bank. So hope you give that a go. I'll let you know how I get on with it. See you in a bit. Well, we're a couple of hours into the session so far on this first day. I've just spoke to my friend. He's about 200-300 yards up the bank on the radio, and he's not had anything at all yet. No sign of any fish moving, but I suppose it's like all types of carp fishing, it comes in windows, doesn't it? Sometimes you'll get a good hour and then it'll die for 4 or 5 hours, and then you'll get another good hour. To be fair, my first casts were middle of morning, and carp fishing is not usually very good at that time. And it's like any fishing, early morning you might get an odd couple of hours through the day, and then sort of late evening, and then through the night as well. Not sure whether we're going to be doing any night fishing. If we are, then I'll let you know. But it's all a bit quiet at the moment. I've got my camping stove on, and I'm just going to make myself a pot noodle just to keep me going, and that'll sustain me for an hour or two. First review of the session then. Naked noodles, egg noodles, Chinese chow mein. I don't really like pot noodles, but these are a bit different. I think they're on special offer for around about 75p in Asda. But the taste, absolutely fantastic. Very similar to Chinese takeaway food, and definitely not like your average pot noodle. So yeah, naked noodles. Add a bit of water, leave for 2 or 3 minutes, and you've got an absolute fantastic little snack. Combined with a Nescafe coffee, absolutely superb. Sun's coming out as well, which is amazing. 2 days of blooming rain, and everything's wet through, and you just pray for a bit of sunshine just to warm things up and dry things out. So yeah, it's going to be like a washerwoman's washing place around here in another hour or so. Washing line will be out, everything will be drying, and I can pack it away dry, which is good. So still nothing happening. No at all, no fish showing. The water's nice and calm. It's so quiet round here as well. The owner were telling me there's wild boar in the woods behind you. You're actually sat in the middle of a forest. Deer, rabbits, and yeah, badgers. So peaceful and quiet. All you hear is a bit of rustling behind you. God knows what that is, and bird song. Absolutely lovely round here. So right, I'll crack on with eating my naked noodles, Chinese chow mein. Well, it's about 5 hours into the session, and I've just lost a fish. I think I told you earlier that I'm trying a PVA bag method, which I've never tried before. In fact, it's the first time I've ever purchased any of these PVA bags. They're good quality ones, but they're only small, and that's the issue. To get the distance that I need to cast, I'm fishing with 3-ounce leads, and they're quite big, and the PVA bags are quite small. So basically what happens is I load in my hook, and then a small layer of particles, and then put the lead in and another small layer of particles over the top. But the problem is it's really tight in there, and there's not enough room, I don't think, for me to coil the hook link up properly. So basically when I cast out and the bag melts, The hook link has been snagging with the lead and with the lead putty that's on the hook link to keep it pinned down. And I had a really good run earlier, but when I lifted up expecting the fish to be hooked, there was nothing there at all. And when I inspected the rig when it came in, it was just in a tangled mess. And obviously with the semi-fixed running rigs, which I'll show you later, the rig that I'm using, you're relying on the lead to hook the fish, especially if you're fishing an air rig system. But obviously it didn't feel the lead because it were all tangled in a big mess, and that's why I lost that fish. So I've changed it slightly. Instead of including the lead in the bag now, I'm just using the hook link in the bag, so there can't be any tangle. So I've just cast out again, and I'm going to give it about an hour, reel it back in and just see if that's worked. If not, we just have to keep tweaking these things. It's quite a new method for me. So I lost my first fish, really nice run. But unfortunately it hadn't hooked itself properly. The hooks are sharp, by the way, because I've started sharpening those now on the bank side. But yeah, a bit gutted. Yeah, I waited 5 hours for a bite and then lost it just through inexperience, really. But that's how you learn, I suppose. So yeah, got a few more tweaks to do. So what is it, around about 4 o'clock now. So we'll keep on fishing, see how it goes. We're hoping to get to about 7-8 o'clock, and then there'll be a bit more activity. There's still no fish showing, and I spoke to my friend up at the other peg, and he's not had a touch either, so a bit unusual. But yeah, you know, some days you've good days, some days they're you know, some days you've got to wait, hang around. You might only get one sort of take a day. So quite windy on the rod tips. That's the noise that you can hear. So yeah, okay, no worries. I'm just having a Turkish tea, by the way. Lidl at the moment, or was when I left the UK, Lidl were doing some speciality teas, so I thought I'd try a Turkish style tea, apple infused. Tell you what, really nice, and you don't need to worry about any milk either. But nice and tasty. I'm supposed to be really doing what the French are doing. My friend up there, he started on red wine already. I keep hearing him on radio, and his voice is getting more and more slurred. So I don't think it's a bit too early for me. I might have a drink a bit later on, but hopefully won't make a mess of myself on the camera. So I'm hoping you're getting this all right. Weather's lovely, by the way. It's a bit grey and overcast, but it's nice and warm now. Everything's drying out, which is really good. So my trainers got wet through walking up here yesterday, but they're now dried out, so that's good. So yeah, anyway, we'll carry on fishing in a bit. Well, we're well into the day now. I've not had any fish on the bank as yet. I've probably fished 6 or 8 hours so far. In fact, it's sort of early evening time. I've decided to fish one rod right at the far bank, and one rod close in, probably just one rod length out. And I've sort of pre-baited that area, because if it comes dark I might just decide to fish a rod length out. So I'm sort of working on a swim area there. I've been pre-baiting it for a couple of hours with the bait that I've made up earlier. PVA bag, not sort of convinced on it so far. It's a pretty. I've tried it with the lead in the bag and with and just with a bag attached to the hook link. Not had, well, I've had that one bite on it, but that's kind of all I've had really. So I'm going to try, might try a couple of hours with the stringers and give those a go and see what happens. So yeah, fingers crossed on that. Weather-wise, it's got a bit windy. The wind's picking up, but it's still nice and sunny. It's fairly warm as well. I've just got a t-shirt on and just this thin sweater. So I'm waiting for one of the rods to scream off, but it's looking unlikely. Just about to have some tea as well. So I've got some tuna and some boiled potatoes. So I'll give those a go. Maybe a pita bread as well. So I'll try and get another scene in just in front of the camera before it gets dark, and let you know how I'm getting on. I did see an otter. The guy's been plagued with an otter. He said some of the anglers have been catching fish, and the tails have had. I mean, they're all perfect from what I can gather. The fish in here are all perfect from what people have said. But recently, fish have been coming out, and they've had bits of tail missing, which is unusual. He said he has been, he's heard that he's not seen it. Oh, I've just seen a kingfisher go by. Camera facing it wrong direction, but that's what you get in these places. Yeah, he's been plagued with an otter, but he's not seen it. But believe it or not, I got a radio call from my friend higher up the lake. He said, I'm sure there's an otter just swum past. And yeah, sure enough, I couldn't get it on camera because for me it were heading over far bank, and it were hard to sort of zoom in with the camera. But yeah, definitely was an otter. But this time I've identified where it gets out of the water. He said he's got a couple of otter traps down, and here in France you're not allowed to kill the otters. They're a protected animal. I think that's the same. Well, that is the case in the UK as well. But what you are allowed to do is trap them and then move them to another water. And there's quite a few rivers in this area. And he said to me last night that his plan is to try catch it and move it to the river. He's got 3 traps out, but none of them have been successful. But to be fair, he's never seen it, and he's not. I think my bit of information. He's sort of he'll probably be on his way in an hour or two up here just to check everything's okay. But I've actually seen the area that the otter gets out of the water, so that'll be a massive help to him, maybe for laying one of his traps. So he just said it's a rogue otter. That's what anglers have said. There's an otter knocking around, and it's on its own. Some amazing birds of prey as well while he's sat here. Don't know what kind they are. Really dark, black type. I don't know, hawks or eagles, whatever. But I heard it this morning, a big screeching type noise, but I'm not seeing out. But I did see it about 2 hours ago, just sort of cruising around tops of trees. So I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I'll keep you all posted as to how we get on, and hopefully we can. It'd be nice to open the session with a fish on the bank. That'd be really nice. But that's carp fishing for you. You know, I just don't think they're feeding, and I've not seen any. Not done anything. We're not doing anything wrong. I'm pretty confident the bait that I've used and the tactics that I'm using, little pop-up systems, that they've worked really well in the UK, but nothing here at all. So, but it's like what else, you just don't know. If they're not feeding, they're not feeding. You're just not going to get them. You know, that ground bait, the pre-bait mix that I made, it's usually really good. Hemp and corn, it's a traditional old system, and it usually works, holds fish and attracts fish in, but not as yet. You know, I will be trying different things. As I said earlier, right in the beginning of this, I'm not an expert, and I'm certainly technically not the world's greatest carp fisherman. I keep listening to people, and they give me a few ideas, and I look at a few videos on YouTube, just like you all do, just for you know, that added element and that little bit more of education. So I will show you my rigs. It's just not been a decent opportunity today, but there will be time when I can show you what systems I'm using. And there were two rigs I'm using. Both, I've copied both of them off the internet, both off of YouTube. So yeah, and I'll show you how they work. I've got a little tank that I bought just before I brought it out here. It's just a little 100ml tank. In fact, I'll go grab it for you. So this is the little tank that I use, and it's brilliant for snowman rigs, and it's really good for pop-up rigs as well. It's a little transparent thing that I think's designed for displays. Only a couple of pound on eBay. Little perspex tank. It allows you to drop your baits in there and just have a look and just see whether, you know, they're balanced or they're popped up. I still haven't got mine perfect yet. In fact, I'm going to try something different tomorrow. But I've got a boilie bait and a piece of fake corn on top, and that just sort of flicks the bait around in the water. But I'm going to try maybe a pop-up tomorrow, which just gives it that tiny bit more buoyancy. I've noticed when I've reeled in a couple of times, there's a lot of old leaf mould on the bottom, and I think maybe the boilies that I'm popping up at the moment are just sat in the mould rather than sort of popping up above it. But the fake corns don't have enough buoyancy just to bring the boilie up, and it's only a 15mm boilie as well. We don't have enough buoyancy to bring it up off the leaf mould. So tomorrow probably one of the rods will have a decent pop up on there, which will give it that bit more buoyancy and just sort of pop it above the debris on bottom. So yeah, quite useful, brilliant for looking at. This water that I'm fishing at the moment, I'll try and give you a close-up of it, but it's absolutely black. You can't see the bottom. It's weird peaty type water. So this kind of thing just allows you to look at your rig just before you send it out, so you know that when it hits the water, providing the cast is decent, you've done all your own work on bank really, and that's going to you know, you've done your own work on bank. You've had a look at it in a little tank, and it's doing its stuff, so you know confidently when it goes out there it should be ideal. So anyway, that's enough of me rambling for now. Yeah, they'll be just sort of hauled up, won't they, for the time being. Give it another couple of hours. When it gets dark, they'll be coming out, hopefully coming out and looking for a bit of food. Dad has not been feeding, have they?
Just looking now, they look high up in water as well, Paul. Just moving down, lower down now for all this bracken.
Yeah, you were just saying about water being warm. It is warm. There might have been sort of up in water most of the day, but it's usual case, isn't it? You wait till end of day and fish will go down hopefully. Are you still up in top at lake?
Yeah, I've got a track behind, you know, where the fishing bank is. Just going down there now.
Let us know if you see out, mate.
See two straight away.
Have you got like a bag of boilies with you? Drop an handful in. Yeah, maybe not confident or something then. Maybe I don't know. Well, it's getting to the end of the first day, and we've not had anything. I just had that one sort of dropped bite earlier. It's probably about 8-9 o'clock now. I'm not sure whether I'm going to fish into at night, but my friend up there, he's had nothing at all. He's fishing with a bait boat, 2 rods out, and accurate bait dropping. He's had no runs at all. No fish showing either, which is strange, but there is a bit of a fly hatch on, and I wonder if they're sort of gorging on flies. Looking in the water here, it's absolutely tons and tons of black flies coming up, so they could be munching on those as the day goes on, and they're not going looking for food. I don't know. It's strange, but yeah, we're not disheartened. It's first day, so we'll keep on trying and see what happens. I'm not sure I'm going to be fishing into at night. I'll try put some on video if we are, and yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, lovely evening, no wind, it's warm, and yeah, superb, nice and quiet and tranquil, peaceful. So yeah, well, let's see what else we can catch on the old camera, because there's nothing happening on rods at the moment. Well, it's about 5:30 this morning. We didn't do anything at all last night. Nothing, no sign of any fish. We didn't get any runs. So yeah, a bit disappointing really so far, but yeah, we'll see what happens today. It's second day. Got up first thing, had about 2 hours sleep, hoping to catch up on some sleep as the day goes on. Got a kettle on for the first coffee, so it's I hope you can see me alright, but it's still a bit dark. Plenty of bats around though, so been watching those. Bit of smoke on water, so that's interesting. I'm going to change a few things today. I'll show you when it gets a bit lighter. I'll show you what rig I was using yesterday, and I'll show you what my thoughts are for today. But I'll make a couple of tweaks to one rod anyway, and we'll just see if that makes any difference. I've got an idea, so I'll catch you when it gets a bit lighter. Well, we're here for this second day. Didn't catch anything at all through the night, didn't have any runs. Lost that one fish sort of early evening yesterday, and I've not had anything since. I've just changed tactics, so I'll show you those as the day goes on. I've been pulling in really small pieces of rotting weed by the looks of it. It's about 2 or 3 inches long, so rather than sit a bait just on the bottom, I've tried to sort of lift it by 2 or 3 inches and just have it wafting about, so it's fairly critically balanced. So I'm going to give that a try. That's on the left hand rod, and I've left the other one just as it is, and we'll see if we get a run on any of these, and obviously we can maybe change tactics. Still on the same baits as yesterday, but I'm going to give that another half a day and then we'll probably think about, we've got quite a lot of flavours to try. So I'm going to try a different flavour if this bait doesn't work, but this is the bait that I usually use back home, and it's usually really good. So the black pepper and liver. So it stopped raining anyway. It was raining through the night again, and it is a really grey day today. In fact, it's probably going to be one of those days where the sun doesn't come out, looking at the clouds up there. So it might be good weather. It's warm, it's not cold, it's just grey and damp. But it's not raining at the moment. So just about to have some breakfast. I'm on my second coffee, so I'll get stuck into that, and hopefully those bait runners will start screaming. Well, not a lot to report really. It's middle afternoon, day 2. Still not caught anything yet. It's a bit quiet, to be fair. Water's calm, it stopped raining. It was quite bad this morning was the weather, and I thought it was going to stay like that all day, but it's definitely got a lot milder. In fact, it's warm. Every now and again sun makes an appearance, but yeah, still no fish unfortunately, so it's just a check-in just to sort of keep you in the loop. I have made a couple of changes, just put some bigger pop-ups on. We were talking earlier about the weed being about 3 inches. So I've made some critically balanced rigs that just sort of waft down and just sit on top of there, and a little bit more buoyant now, just to see if I can attract fish swimming past. But the water's quite black, so I'm not sure whether they're sort of looking around for food on smell. I'm sure they are, because you probably can't see out. It looks to be about, well, it's about 10 or 12 feet deep out there where I'm fishing. So I think today I might spend I might spend the rest of today in this peg, and then maybe look at moving. I've tried all the stick mixes. I've tried a couple of different stick mixes, pellets, corn, but I just can't seem to get fish feeding. My friend's the same as well. He's using a bait boat system, and he's got some great mixes and some good baits and a good combination of rigs. He lost a fish last night in the snags. Luckily we have to use Bobble hooks on this water, and he managed to retrieve his rig and his line, and the fish had unhooked itself as well. So there's a plus, I suppose, for Bobble hooks. So yeah, that's a bit of an update as to where we're at. I keep getting odd line bite, but you're fishing at such a distance here, you're going to pick up a few fish bumping into your line, although I think most of it's pegged down anyway. So so that's where we're at. Just about to have a bit of something to eat. Not sure what I'm having yet. Probably one of those naked noodles again. Don't know what flavour. See what comes out of the bag first. They're all nice. Well, that's about it for day 2. It's just about heading towards nightfall now. Another 10-15 minutes and it'll be dark. I'm going to keep my 2 rods out tonight, just to see whether I can land the fish and end this drought. So yeah, it's still not had I've had no runs at all today. No bites, nothing. Not seen any fish. So I think this might be the last day in this swim. It's time to move. So I'll give it another go. I think I'm going to head down there, as I said earlier, see if we can get 1 or 2 on the bank. It is a good fishery from what I can gather. There's a lot of fish in here, but it's just obviously locating them and then hopefully getting the right bait to tempt them out. But we'll keep trying. That's carp fishing for you. You know what it's like. You can go for days and days and weeks and not get anything. But I think you've just got to have confidence in what you're doing. And just have the ability to change at the drop of a hat, and you know, just keep your chin up really. So that's what we're doing. So I'll say good night and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Cheers. Well, it's day 3 here in France. Still looking for those fish. How frustrating can this be? I've decided to move from the peg that I was in when I first arrived, and I'm trying a new little peg which I'll show you. I'm not quite there yet. But I thought it was a good opportunity just to take in the views. So I'm going back round the other side of the lake this time, and I found a little peg round there which is nice and quiet and doesn't require a huge cast. I've been casting sort of 60, 70, 80 yards at times, and it's very difficult to sort of get, apart from those stick mixes that I've been throwing out, it's very difficult to get any sort of ground bait out there. So I'm going back to traditionally what I know in the UK, and that's sort of close range fishing, maybe 2 or 3 rods maximum. I've got my catapult with me. It'll allow me to pre-bait some of the swims. I think what I might do is send out some pre-bait. I'm just trying to use sweet corn at the moment, and we'll start from there. But I'm going to pre-bait my swim and leave it to rest for about an hour, and then maybe introduce 1 rod and then the next one. So yeah, wish me luck. It's certainly a challenge out here, that's for sure, but fantastic place to be. It's just so peaceful and tranquil. Not seen nobody, not heard anybody. There's just my friend up there. He's having a similar sort of situation to me. In fact, the only bites I've managed to get are the ones that I pulled out of my calf and my kneecap last night before I went to bed. Bloody ticks everywhere. So there's a little warning for you. If you are travelling around and there is ferns, tall grass, and this is very foresty, just be aware. I'll just take a step back, see if you can see my trousers. So I'm all tucked in this morning. I've put my DEET spray on. You need a pair of tweezers as well, by the way, because I never got those ticks off me. They start to bury into your skin, but you wouldn't have got them off. I wouldn't have got them off me without a really good pair of tweezers. So I managed to get those out without breaking the heads off the ticks. So that's one thing you don't want. I have been bit by a mosquito as well, but I'm dealing with that. But it's the same old thing, isn't it? You concentrate so much on your fishing, you forget about all the other aspects, like wearing your anti-mosquito and midge spray, and you know, tucking your trousers in like you should do when you're in these forest areas. So that's what I've done. But you learn by your mistakes, don't you? Another thing as well is sort of bivvy housekeep, if you like. Just remember, if you're going into your bivvy and you've been fishing in one of these forests, just shake all your claws off. I mean, you don't be embarrassed by, you know, getting all your kit off outside and then just going in your boxer shorts, because you know, you've got to do that. Just shake all your clothing, and then you can safely think, right, okay, well, I'm going to get in bed, I'm in my sleeping bag, there's nothing on my clothing that's going to crawl up, because they'll crawl up. It's awful to say, but they will crawl up your bed chair. I don't think it's quite as bad over in the UK, but some of these rural areas that I suppose that I've got deer walking through them, I mean, that's a tick's biggest taxi, the deer and the badgers. Yeah, just make sure you check your clothing, and just where you can, just go into your bivvy with your boxer shorts on. This morning I got back out of my bivvy, just shook all my clothes off again, got my sleeping bag off my bed chair, which is usually attached to stop it sliding around, and I shook that as well, and I've turned it inside out, beat it a few times, and then put it back on bed chair. They're hard to see. There's not what you can do. All you can do, the best way I found, is just a torch, really. You know, get yourself in there, get yourself sat on your bed chair, and just have a right good look around you with a torch. They're a really slow thing, so if you do it every day, they're not going to end up in areas that you can't see, like your groin and other areas under your armpits, for example. They're not going to get there easily. They're quite slow, so if you cop them early, you usually get them on your legs. But I was walking around yesterday with decent trousers on, denim trousers, camouflage ones. I think you've seen them on camera, but didn't tuck the bottoms in, and they've obviously got onto my boot and started to walk up my trousers, so that's the problem I had. So I'll let you know tomorrow just how I got on, but I've got these all tucked in now, and I'm fishing in an even wooded area than where I've come from. So I'm hoping not to pick any of those up, but I'll let you know tomorrow just whether I was successful or not. It's all trial and error, isn't it, and silly mistakes. You're so focused on your fishing, you forget about the other aspects. So yeah, wish me luck. I'm round there. I haven't got any cooking gear, but I've got a cold dinner, plenty of water. I've no coffee, so I could do with a hot drink later, but anyway, I'll have to go back round to camp and put the kettle on, I suppose. But I'll let you know by the end of today, or I'm hoping to show you a bit of footage of some fish. That'd be ace, wouldn't it? So yeah, cool. Day 3, Central France. Let's see how we get on. Well, that's nearly the end of day 3 and we still haven't had a fish. Gordon Bennett, talk about testing your patience. I suppose that's carp fishing for you. I'm rounding this new peg. I've had a few line bites, but that's about it really. I think I'm going to stay here till it gets dark. It's not suitable to fish in the dark around here. It's too woody. So I think what I'll do is I'll give it another couple of hours here. And then I'll head off back to base camp and then rethink it while I'm nodding off tonight. I think what I might do is, well, I don't really have much choice but to pick another swim. Luckily there's another 4 or 5 to choose from. So yeah, I've gone through my catalogue of baits today, tied up 4 or 5 different rigs, checked my rigs just to see that they're all working okay, and I'm confident they are. It's just for the fish, I think. So I don't know. My friend round the back now, he's had a couple already, so he's off the mark. so that's good, but it's not as prolific from what I can gather as it usually is. So maybe there's been a fly hatch, or the owner did mention a bloodworm hatch, and I think that probably kills it. No doubt you experts will be able to comment below and just confirm that. But it's definitely slow, and there's not much to be seen either. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself. I'm not losing faith. And you've got to be confident, haven't you? You've got to be confident. The stuff that you're using and the tackle that you put together, you've got to be confident that it's worked before and it should work again. All you can do is go over it, double check it so it all looks as it should do, and how it goes, and just see what happens. So yeah, 3 days, one bite in 3 days. Wow. Yeah, not very good, but anyway, I'm not an expert, but I'll keep on trying. Hey up, and welcome to day 4, Central France. I tried to do a video this morning early on, but my battery went flat and I've just managed to charge it up, so sorry about that. But this is 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had a fish. Yep, I didn't have the camera obviously, and that's usual case, but I have taken a photograph on my phone. So yeah, you can have a look at that. Just over 20 pounds it was. So yeah, nice fish. At least I'm off and running anyway. It wasn't in this peg that I'm in now, which is my base camp peg. I've come back here, but I caught it in a snag peg right at the top of the lake, but it's proper dodgy. There's fallen down trees and there is a few carp there, but you just have to bully them, and it's not right. As soon as you get a fish on you, well, you've actually got to keep hold of your rod, and it's not relaxing at all, so you can't maintain it up there. So I've come down here with a few more ideas, and I'm going to see if I can tease 1 or 2 out of here. Hopefully the battery will be okay, and I can show you the fish on this camera. So that's about it. Having a good time. It's really hot here. It's about 26, 27 so far, but it's going to get even higher than that tomorrow, and then it starts to tail off, does the weather. But it's really nice, really nice. I've just seen French Air Force. I was telling you earlier that it's been peace and quiet and nice and tranquil. Just to the side of me there's a lot of high trees, and it's one side of the forest, and you won't believe it, but a tornado actually flew over the trees, and you didn't even hear the thing coming until it were gone past you. But the guy actually tilted the plane so you could see him looking along the lake bank. I bet he was chuckling to himself, because talk about scary, but he must have just come along low, flicked up above the trees, and then honestly it were literally, well, you can hear it in the background. It must be some training exercise. I saw 2 earlier, but one just popped up over trees. It must have only, well, the height of a tree, so what, about 50 foot, 60 foot, and you didn't hear it coming. You actually saw it first, and then obviously a big massive blast from the jets at the back. But that were interesting, but that's really, apart from bird noise, that's really all you hear. So yeah, really interesting. So yeah, a close-up of a tornado jet from French Air Force. So yeah, I'm going to carry on. Got both my rods out, got boilies on both, and I'm loose feeding with some maize, because that's what they feed them on here in winter. But I'll tell you what, French wild carp fishing is not easy. Not easy. It's, well, 36 hours, 3 days I did without a bite. So yeah, it can be quite frustrating, and I suppose you've got to be an ardent angler to just sort of, luckily this all stems back to my pike days when you'd go for weekends and just blank, and yeah, you get quite hardy to it. But some people I suspect could get quite despondent because it's not a carp puddle. You just don't come and get runs after run after run every hour. You might get 1 a day or 2 a day. I have lost a couple of fish, believe it or not. I lost one, a really big fish this morning. But again, we're up in that snaggy swim, and there's a lot of fallen trees in there, and it went straight for trees. And I've got 2.5 pound test rods, but I couldn't hold it. It was a big fish, and it basically just rubbed through my braid. And I knew it did that. Obviously, my braid had broke when I got all my gear back. but my line was just like sandpaper, so he'd obviously been rubbing that against an underwater tree as well. But that's what it's like up there. They know exactly where to go, as they do in UK. So yeah, that were unlucky. But then about an hour after, I got the other fish. So not too bad. But you just can't maintain it up there because you can't relax. You sat behind your 2 rods, and you just dare not concentrate because everything will be gone and they'll be straight in snags. I don't know whether you can hear that tornado again thundering around. Yeah, I'll try and catch it on camera if I can. So yeah, one in the bag, so we haven't blanked, but it's been 3 days waiting for that fish. And it wasn't a big one, 20, just over 20 pounds. So yeah, nice fish though, mirror carp. So yeah, anyway, we'll carry on. I'm gonna fish until dark tonight. I haven't done any night fishing, but I'm gonna fish until dark, and just see how we go. Oh, that was a line bite. There, might be moving into the swim. So I'll catch you in a bit anyway. I'll carry on fishing. What a lump. Get your tail in, mate. There's bloody fish in there. Zeroed them. £37, just short of that. Let's get him back. I do take with me a carp care kit, but I'll really only use it if the mouth's bleeding or there's quite a big flesh wound. But most of the fish I use really sharp, strong hooks, and it sort of just pricks in their holes and don't kind of make any damage. The barbless ones as well. So sometimes you might see me with the carp care kit, sometimes you won't. But the hooks are really sharp and they're really clean. But if you do see any, if you do manage to land any carp that have got mouth damage, just a little bit of that carp gel, just to sort of, it's an antiseptic. Let's get the word right. Antiseptic, that's it, I think. Yeah. Anyway, the carp care kit. Cool, see you in a bit. Well, now the adrenaline stopped pumping. What a fish that was. And that's what carp fishing's all about, you know. It's you wait days and days, don't you, for a bite, and for a run, you know, and you could get disheartened and just just throw it all away and just pack in, couldn't you? But those are the reasons that that, you know, I'm not a carp angler, but I'm sure that's the reason that carp anglers do what they do. They just keep on going and going. There's always a star prize, isn't there? You know, if you just persevere. And I was saying to my friend earlier, when we totted up the amount of hours that we've had to wait for a bite, they're not easy waters. Carp fishing is not easy unless you're in one of those chucky puddles. Real carp fishing is not easy. But you know, that were a big fish, a really big fish. It took me nearly an hour to land, and I finally realised that my 2.5 pound outcast rods are just not big enough. So we're coming again next year, but we need to seriously beef up the equipment. The line held out really well. That's 15 pound. That's the new 15 pound Ridge Monkey line. Superb, no problem at all. Really pleased with that. Didn't worry at all. Got some Shimano 6000 reels as well, and they were fine. Just the rods are a bit light to deal with those big fish. I suppose you're alright up to about 20-25 pounds with them, but those big fish, whew, yeah, I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, well, that kind of closes the evening. There's probably about 2 hours left. It's like a bomb site over there, as it is when you've landed a big fish. I actually got another run on the other rod as well, and we missed it. Know what you can do. Know what you can do. Anyway, but both rigs on both rods need some attention, so both the rods are out of the water and there's tackle everywhere, so it'll take me half an hour to put that right. So I think that might be about it for day 4. Look out for day 5, and let's see what that brings. I think it's only going to be a short day, because the owner, the French owner, has invited us to a barbecue, so we'll have to wander down there. So I don't know how much fishing is left. In fact, we both shattered, me and my friend, so we said we're going to have a lie-in as well, so that's brilliant, rather than these 5, 6 o'clock starts. So that's what time it gets light here, by the way. So yeah, I don't think I'll be doing as much fishing tomorrow. And then we've got an invite to a French pub on Friday, which is like the village pub, which sounds good fun. So I don't know quite how much we're doing Friday, but yeah, roll on tomorrow should be interesting. Hope it's as exciting as today. Cheers for now.